Hold on, I'm having trouble here. Tell her it's Mick Foley. Please return my call. It's very important. Thank you. Thank you.
Beating them up. I'm main event mafia. You gotta fix this up. Hurry up. Joey, come on, get this going.
Scotty, listen, I need to talk to you.
Mitch, can you believe this bimbo here? I want her to make more main event mafia stuff because he's got wings over here. Come on. I want main event mafia. Get her to get...
Well, Kurt kind of alluded to the fact there was no more main event mafia.
Kurt said there was no main...
Well, he didn't say, he alluded to it.
But he didn't say it.
No, he didn't say it.
He didn't say it. See, mafia lives. As long as I'm here, the mafia lives. Get your ass back on the soul machine and go.
Scotty, listen. I never really worked with Hulk Hogan that much. I don't know him that well. I know you guys did in WCW. What can you tell me about the Hulk?
You mean personally?
Yeah, personally.
Well, Mick, I didn't date him. I don't know anything about personally, but as far as business goes,
business.
We're in the NWO, man. We're a band of thieves. And there was honor among thieves. Let me ask you something. Who's the smartest guy you know?
Smartest?
Not that I know, that you know.
I mean, he came up with the Ron Simmons what gimmick?
Who? Well, I tell you what, times that by 10.
Okay.
Hogan is a master manipulator. I tell you what, these young punks have no idea the storm on the horizon on their ass.
Right, thank you. One more thing.
Yes.
Who's he close with? Like if he were to come in, I've heard that he's not coming alone. Who would he bring with him?
Mick, who do I look like? Nostradamus? I can't see in the future. I can't predict the future. I have no idea what you're talking about. Who said he was coming in with somebody?
Kevin.
Kevin said he's coming in with somebody?
Kevin said he's coming in? He's not coming alone.
If Kevin said that, it's got to be true. He does not lie.
Thank you, Scott.
Do you really want me to do this just like you gave it to me? Because
yes!
There's only one F in Mafia.
Well, you put the F where the sun don't shine. Just do it the way I say, do it the way I put it. Do it, get back to work. Come on, Jolene. I got people to beat up. Come on.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Trip Around the Multiverse with the man who's twice the man you are and has half the brain that you do, CY Chung.
And the dog-faced gremlin, Kyle Charles.
What we're going to go through this episode is what we have upcoming wrestling conversations. Matches that we'll look at, or wrestlers we'll look at, maybe feuds, but they have to be all self-contained because mostly we look at title wrestlers. So when you look at their top 5 or title matches, we can talk about them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can do small self-contained feuds and stuff like that. In fact, one I was going to point out to you was, do you remember the Kurt Angle versus Desmond Wolfe feud from TNA 2009?
I remember bits of it.
Yeah. So I want to have a look at back at that. They only had like 3 matches together.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good. Okay, first of all, I thought it was a good storyline on how do you introduce a new star into your organization, Desmond Wolfe, aka Nigel McGuinness, who can then live up to the actual hype.
Yeah.
And challenge one of your top tier established wrestlers right off the bat and look at an equal footing on him. At the end of the feud, obviously he didn't look as good, but that's not the point.
Yeah, that's not the point. That's not the point.
That's that's a hell of an introduction right off. So I'm interested in looking at that. Intrigued to.
Yeah.
We will look at segments, introduction segments, the couple of matches, and have see how well this went at getting over a new star. Do you think that's the best way we can put it?
Yeah, it's the best way of putting it. I do remember during that time, weren't there some weird, not shenanigans, but
yeah,
there was a sort of, I think it was like a viewer's choice that who's going to face Kurt Angle, and TNA wanted it to be someone else.
Yeah.
But the crowd voted for
Desmond
Wolfe.
No. Here's the okay. You're speaking about slightly after this feud, right? After this feud. Rob Van Dam was the champion. And yeah, TNA had the voting system going on. Which is always a bit awkward unless you rig it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or unless you put a whole bunch of so last time WWE had kind of a rating system, the crowd interactive cheer for whoever you want to be the opponent. Yeah. Christian was champion. They had Great Khali come out. They had some other jabroni come out. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Mark Henry or Vladimir Kozlov or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And and then they basically had cheer for who you want to challenge Christian for the world title.
Was it world title or was it the ECW title?
No, it's the World Heavyweight Champion because Randy Orton won the match. This is where Christian
Oh,
got
yeah,
a 2-day
yeah.
title reign.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
saying they manipulated in a way that you can only ship Randy Orton because the other guys, there were being nothing, nobody's at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But here, where they had like you say, they had a ranking of like 10 people, something like that, and
Something like, yeah.
TNA was pushing Sting or Jeff Hardy, I think, at the time. But Desmond Wolf just kept on getting all the votes.
Yeah.
So not only did they manipulate the vote poll, and he still won, they let him come out and get squashed in a 4-minute match after that, just to put a finger out to the crowd. It's like, oh man, look, you had the guy that you could have done something with, and you just deliberately chose not to do it because your storyline that you wanted didn't have the guy in that position. It's like, well, just keep the guy in position. Anyways,
That's so dumb.
yeah, that's after this feud though.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was during this food, but okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, from what I remember, the matches were pretty good. I just think the very last match, the 3 stages of hell, they don't call it that. What do they call it?
Is that Full Metal Mayhem?
No. It had 3 matches in it. It had the normal match, submission match, and a cage match. 2 out of 3 falls, maybe they TNA called it.
Probably, I can't remember. Something.
Yeah.
It's something that made no sense and still
Yeah.
for it to say doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that look, throughout the entire thing, Desmond Wolf was looking good.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 stages of hell match, it kind of made him look second tier to Kurt Angle rather than he's equal. But we'll get to that when the actual when we speak about the actual matches.
Yeah. Oh,
about that. Yeah. We're gonna have a look at Shawn Michaels' title losses,
Yep.
singles and tag, in separate videos because, well, first of all, Shawn Michaels has quite a lot of matches for titles. Losing them on the other hand is a bit awkward, right? But and they go lengthy as well. So you want to sit down here and watch a long 3 hours worth of matches to talk about them as well. So
yeah.
And usually Shawn Michaels does quality, so there might be a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah,
right?
as he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, but as we acknowledge, he don't like losing titles.
No, he loses his smile instead.
yeah. Sometimes, yeah, exactly. And we'll just go into shenanigans. I say shenanigans. So sometimes they say when he got beat up by the Marines and he had to give up the title.
Yeah.
I mean, when he had the match with Razor, the ladder match at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
And he came out with the Intercontinental title, Shawn Michaels, and Razor came out with another one, and it's to unify the Intercontinental titles because Shawn Michaels never actually gave up.
Yeah.
We are not going to be watching that match because he had already lost the title by that point. Officially. But yeah, so yeah, we are gonna have to go through the times where he lost the title without losing the title. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of entertaining in its own right, you know.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Because even the guy admits himself he's a bit of a nasty bastard in the 90s.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna be not slaying him because he is quality.
Yeah.
It's just personality wise.
Back then he wasn't the
nicest guy that you could put
to
it
work
right?
with. Yeah.
And oh my goodness, as well, how he deliberately made people look like jabronis if he wanted to. We know from the
Hogan.
over the top. Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite matches of all time.
Yes.
Only, to be fair, it only became one of my favorite matches of all time when I got older and I realized what he did. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that is hilarious.
Maybe we should do Shawn Michaels SummerSlam matches as well, just so we can watch this match again.
Yeah, just because that match is amazing.
All right, I know that down. HBK SummerSlam matches, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so not to obviously just slate people because of the quality of matches. We are going to do top 5 wrestling matches.
Yeah.
And we're going to use the match called CageMatch.net. It's an internet wrestling database. I know it hasn't probably ranked all the matches, but we're just going to go by either they have the Dave Meltzer Pro Wrestling Observer stars on column on one side, and they have their own audience match rating on the other side. So we might flick it back and forth between which one we choose, but we let the people know.
Yeah, we'll let you know
which one we're choosing. But yeah, we're going to go for not the... All right, we're going to go for wrestlers who may not be the greatest as well sometimes. So I know we've had 2 episodes on Kevin Nash already.
Yeah.
But I think we should do a Kevin Nash top 5 just so it's not we're not just
Be
deliberately
negative.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And like we've said before, I don't mind Kevin Nash.
yeah.
He's a better talker and everything, but yeah,
Well, here's the thing: some people can pull out quality.
yeah,
It's just they don't pull out quality often.
yeah, and he's possibly one of those guys.
Yeah. So if it's multi-man tag matches, whatever has the highest star ratings of the top 5 will go there.
Okay.
But not only Nash, we're gonna do Warrior.
The
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And
opposite side of the spectrum, really, isn't he?
and Lex Luger.
Okay, yeah. Luger's had some okay matches, so
Yeah,
that should be fun.
I wouldn't say Luger's the greatest either. That's the
No,
thing.
he's no Sting,
Yeah. So
and then he's no Great Khali, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Luger's one of them odd ones where
yeah, he
He
can
can
be
have-
good.
yeah, and then sometimes he isn't.
Yeah,
And I think at some point he just started overly relying on his. I don't want to say the personality of the character. It's like, okay, The Rock and Hogan don't need to do much at all, right?
yeah,
Because they're so over the top as characters. They can just taunt and do your most basic moves and everyone will love the match.
yeah.
Even Scott Steiner could do the same. But
It's like-
Luger can't get away with that.
Because like Luger's like the character itself is kind of boring.
Yeah. I know what you mean because the total package gimmick character, even the American when he was the last American hero. What
Yeah.
was that? What was that gimmick?
I think he budget Hulk Hogan.
The what?
Budget Hulk Hogan. We can't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
Hogan,
yeah,
so here we have Luger.
Yeah, even the narcissist or whatever. When he was that,
yeah,
he wasn't bombastic enough to retain your attention simply by being there and doing theatrical movements.
yeah. He's
However, Psycho Sid, on the other hand, yeah,
yeah.
look, this guy is not the greatest wrestler, right?
No.
But he seems to be every single movement is over the top.
Yeah,
Even
there's
though
something about him.
it's strange because he's understated but over the top at the same time.
Yeah.
Because when he pulls back punch, he just reels his entire upper body backwards and then leans forward with the punch, and then he thumps people over the head. I'm like, Sid, you're a cartoon.
That's the thing. That's why he's. I don't get how. Like, it's just really bad. I don't get how he got so far.
Oh, you know why? You know why?
He's
Because
tall.
first of all, man can cut promos, right?
Yeah, but not intentionally.
Yeah, no, but they're straight. They're weird, like, no, what the hell he's saying something. Not like warrior bad, but he's just like, yeah, he knows his character, and he's just being like it's Psycho Sid Vicious Justice. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And he's very theatrical. Let me put it as well. Like that. When he's selling bewilderment, he is making sure everyone at the top of the arena can see his head just shift about, going, "What's going on?" You know.
Yeah. He's still terrible.
But he moves way too much motion in when he's doing stuff, and he does one of the laziest power bombs ever I've seen. He doesn't even flip the people up like till they're upright; he just flips them halfway, like a 90-degree power bomb.
Yeah, his power bombs were quite dreadful. His choke slams were okay.
Yeah, one-handed. They look weird when you do it one-handed, but
Yeah.
that's. Yeah, so we'll have a look at. Well, we got Sid title matches listed here. And you know what? To be fair, in his I think in a couple of his title matches, he's got good workers with him.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels being one of them. Bret Hart, the other one.
Yeah, Taker.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that match wasn't meant to be very good, by the way. I haven't seen it, but that match was meant to be terrible. Not the true main event of WrestleMania 13, as Bret Hart should have been.
Yeah.
He had a US title match versus Goldberg. You know that, right?
Did he?
Yeah. He lost the US title to Goldberg in one of his matches, which is actually meant to be surprisingly good. And then they had the rematch, and they couldn't capture the magic for some reason. Yeah.
Why don't I
But
remember this?
This way, because it'd be intriguing to see, considering. Goldberg is good at Goldberg matches, right?
Yeah.
Sid can work. I don't want to look. Sid probably works below the level of whoever he's working with. So you got to really like him. So to hear that these two have actually had a good match, it's going to be something.
Sounds ludicrous.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, it's probably the anomaly because when they have the rematch, we can see how they actually work together.
Yeah, that's still I find that.
We'll have a look at Scott Hall title wins.
So that'd be his single title wins or wrapping at Emmy tag as well.
Here's the awkward thing, right? I know most of the time we covered his tag title wins because we covered Nash.
Yeah.
It might be a while until we covered Scott Hall's tag title wins because we already seen most of his matches.
Yeah.
Ideally, probably what we should have done was just watch that one Scott Hall title match that he won without Kevin Nash, the tag title, and just stick it on the end of that. But we'll leave that for now. We'll do the singles ones for this moment.
Yeah, cool. Right.
Because he's had quite 4 Intercontinental title reigns, 1 US title reign, 1 TV title reign.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think he had. Did he have a TNA title reign?
1 title reign.
No, I think he had a title in TNA.
Tag title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that 3-minute match that we talked about. That he didn't even get tagged in because he was. They didn't trust him.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Scott Hall. As you know, he's had his issues.
Yeah.
So it'd be intriguing to see how the guy started as a top tier star. They pushed him.
Yeah, we'll say that.
And then see how, I don't want to say necessarily bad or worse his matches get, but when he's less able to see how the quality is. Not to say that's what we're deliberately studying, but it just happens to be this guy's known for. What did you think, by the way? Do you remember when they did that gimmick in WCW where they called him Last Call Scott Hall, where he came to the ring drunk all the time?
Oh, look! As a kid, obviously I didn't know the background what was going on. I thought, okay, this is quite funny. And then looking back at it now, I was like, dude, no, that's a gimmick you shouldn't do.
That WCW. That the WCW bookers shouldn't have done, or Scott Hall shouldn't have accepted.
All of them.
Okay.
It was sort of similar with when WWF was sort of doing the same thing with the Hawk stuff when they brought his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I don't want to say it, so I'm going to talk around it. But the Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton feud for the title.
Yeah.
And even the Paige Charlotte feud for the title, if you remember.
When she dropped this on,
Yeah, exactly. It's like that sort of stuff doesn't put heat on the characters. It puts heat on the company because people watching it are not like the audience. They're not entertained by it. They're like, you're so low.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's low hanging fruit. Yeah.
Such a scumbag company, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Even if the performers are okay with it, but it still comes off bad.
I tell you what, the awkward issue I have is here. It's not whether the performers are okay with it. It's just if they stand up and say they will get put in the bad books or something like that. Something like they might get a little small reprisal or something like that, right? Depushed, even fined, whatever, right? You don't know exactly what happened. So they it's like when you go to your workplace and you try to say, okay, your manager's being a dick, so you have to report him to someone else, right?
Yeah.
But then your manager's going to get in your back about something. So it's just like, but like you're saying, if it was someone a higher rank in the company, if Triple H, you know that, if they said to him, oh, you're Triple H, right? I want you to do this. Triple H had the power to say no, even back then in the 90s.
Yeah.
Especially, actually, you know what Triple H did do, by the way?
What?
I believe it was Chris Jericho had the undisputed title.
Yeah.
And he was feuding with Triple H.
Yeah.
And then what Jericho came up with an idea just to taunt Triple H more was to say, look, Triple H, Stephanie is sleeping with someone, right? That you don't know. And this is where Chris Jericho had a ponytail and Rob Van Dam had a ponytail.
Yeah.
So they were going to show footage, kind of, with Stephanie in bed with someone, kind of. I don't know how they were going to do it. And then you see kind of the ponytail. And then Jericho goes, "Oh, it's Rob Van Dam. That's Rob Van Dam." Except that obviously it turns out to be Jericho, and then he ambushes Triple H, right? And then Triple H says, "That don't work for me, brother."
All right.
Well, no, he didn't say that. He said, "No, my character wouldn't be stupid enough to fall for that," and so they vetoed the entire thing.
Okay.
So you don't mind making Jericho look like a jabroni walking Stephanie's dog when he's the world champion, but you do mind him getting slimy heat and you yourself looking like a fool, right? Okay.
Hey, I see no problem with him saying that. A lot of people in wrestling, I think, should say stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah. Okay, look. Let me put it this way. Yes. I do agree with some cases. I don't agree with some other cases.
Yeah.
But at that point, Jericho was looking like a complete jabroni.
Yeah, he was. He was.
You know what? Give him a bit more heat heading into your title match that you're going to win anyways. You know, it don't really matter to you. Or look, you could adjust it to give him a bit more shine rather than just basically, yeah. It's Triple H versus Stephanie and Jericho's the proxy.
Yeah. Which was stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll have a... Even though that's sidetracked from completely what we were saying,
Yeah,
right?
but... Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me what you... Yeah, so you're saying the Scott Hall last call gimmick, you're like, they shouldn't have done it, right?
Nah, they shouldn't have done it. It was, like you said, it's trashy.
Yeah.
Especially when the dude is legit, like, dealing with stuff. Yeah, no.
Exactly. Yeah, completely unnecessary. Just
Completely.
like... Who signs up on this stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and who thought, yeah, this would be a cool idea? No, it's not. It's stupid.
Yeah, we were going to have a look at Goldberg losses because he hadn't had many losses. But he's having upcoming SummerSlam match. He's probably going to lose anyways.
Yes.
So we're going to have to put that to the side for a minute.
Yep.
Unless we look at it just WCW, but that's only going to be like 4 matches. And then if it's WWE, they're going to be like 2-minute matches. Like I think the longest match he had that he lost was 5 minutes against. No, that was the Elimination Chamber. But more recent matches, let's put it this way. It's not going to be a long. It's not going to be a long show.
Yeah.
Wow. But we'll have a look at that. Maybe we'll just split it into sections like WCW and WWE losses. But I don't think the matches are going to go long enough for any us to have. You know, we might just have to put them together.
Yeah, because like you said, these matches ain't that long.
So I've got listed here. Rick Rude, title wins.
Okay.
The Ravishing One himself, yes. And Ricky Steamboat title wins.
Okay. I'm guessing they didn't have many title wins.
I think... Well, yeah, okay, so, yeah. I mean, we're going to include it, whatever we can find, right? But all the major organizations, like WCW/NWA, went together. WWE, I don't think these guys have won anything, ECW or TNA or anything like that, but we're just going to say, you know, anything that's major, so...
Okay.
All the smaller organizations, you know, how are we going to find stuff to watch there?
Yeah.
No, they've had a decent amount. I think maybe 5 each or something like that.
Because they both were Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. Rick Rude had the WCW International title.
Yeah.
Twice, I think.
Wasn't he WCW Champion as well?
I think it might have been WCW Champion one time as well.
Yeah.
But the International Heavyweight title was basically a WCW Champion as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing with WCW. They had the NWA title, and then they had their own world title, right?
Yeah.
So then
Not confusing
when
at
they
all.
split with the NWA, they split their title, and then I think they merged back with NWA at some point. So they had to combine the titles together. I don't know. But yeah, they had the WCW International title for whatever reasons. WCW, you know, crazy stuff. In fact, actually, okay, let me have a quick, because this sounds murky. I'll have a quick look at the WCW International title. But you know that Ricky Steamboat won the NWA World title.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he had his, I think the US title matches against Steve Austin. Stunning Steve Austin. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to look at. See how... Okay. we know that old Steve Austin. We know that Stone Cold Steve Austin was just a brawler, right?
Yeah.
Well, not just a brawler. Let's put it that way. But pre neck injury, he was actually technical.
Yeah.
So, but then, do you remember him as Stunning Steve Austin?
Yeah, I did. Don't know why I just blanked out. I think I was like, do I? Because that's when he was in WCW, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
So, yeah, I don't remember much of Stunning Steve Austin, but it's just like, okay, I remember this guy could be technical at some point, and he just had to shift his entire style.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for it, but it'd be interesting to see him actually pull off a lot of moves in an actual match, rather than the limited moves he does do,
Yeah.
and the back punches that he, always throws. Plus, him not winning a match with the stunner,
Yeah. It's when he uses the stun gun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Okay, look. WCW International title. Okay. Yeah. Do you believe it was the NWA kind of belt-ish? But then they split. When Ric Flair left for WWF.
Yeah, it was that belt in between,
then
isn't it?
WCW crowned the champion, and then NWA's title, while they still had physical possession of it, was the WCW International World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
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 So, moment in time.
Yeah. Let's put it this way, as we always know, WCW is not the most organized of promotions.
Yeah. WCW's gonna WCW. That's
exactly. Well, yeah, here's the thing, right? This is why people call WCW like not necessarily. Okay, WWF call WCW a joke now, but back then they were competition to WWF. You can't call them. They nearly run your company out of business.
Yeah.
Okay, but as we look at all the history of WCW, like this company, man,
it was a joke.
Yeah. Harsh to say as well. The reality of it, is like it wasn't. It somehow it managed to nearly put WWF out of business, except that it itself was putting itself internally out of business.
Yeah.
What the hell was going on?
Because like everyone established, they were living for the moment rather than the long term.
Yeah.
And that came back to bite them in their butt.
Yeah, I think actually it has. WCW has actually had quite a lot of titles.
Yeah.
There was they had the cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
They had the light heavyweight title first before they did that, and then they retired the title and put the cruiserweight title. WCW cruiserweight tag team champions.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Which only had 2 champions, I believe. Right?
Yep, because they announced the belts and then they got bought by WWE a week later.
Yeah.
After the tournament.
Yeah. Whoa, they had the 6-man world championship as well.
Yeah, I remember that. That sounds about right.
And you know what? I didn't like what they did with the TV. I like the gimmick of the TV title, by the way. It's 10-minute matches on when you're actually on a TV match. And then when you're on a pay-per-view match, the time limit is 15.
Yeah. It was a good concept.
And it's great for heels, to draw the time limit. And also to build a babyface, because you're like, time limit expired, you protect both guys-ish, and then the babyface actually start winning, try and win faster and faster and get closer and closer each time.
Yeah.
And the heels obviously could just run outside of the ring and just waste the time limit as much as possible. You know how it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a great championship to get heels over. But also faces finally beat the heel, yeah. So I think they should have done more of that, actually, you know that?
Yeah.
The way that they got rid of it, you remember how they got rid of it?
Didn't it just disappear?
Oh, Scott Hall won it and then threw it in the bin. And then Jim Duggan picked it out of the bin like months later.
Yeah.
And decided he was the champion. And then that was that, essentially. The title was retired once the WWE bought it. It's like, oh, come on. Yeah. Like, some good people held the title.
Yeah.
And you just treat it like that. It's not the greatest idea in the world.
Yeah.
Bury one of your titles. But then again, yeah.
WCW.
Exactly. Oh my God. I know we're sidetracking from what we're talking about, but WCW is such a mess that we've got to. So, do you remember the WCW Hardcore title? Of course.
How could I forget that legendary, awesome title?
Yeah, and that Meng was the Hardcore title champion.
Yeah.
Right. And then he appeared at Royal Rumble, like
Still
WWE
being
Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
He's
still
like,
being
"Wait a
champion.
minute." Sorry.
And he's still the champion.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
didn't come out with the belt because they would have got sued. But yeah, he was still the champion. He was like, wait a minute, this guy, what? So you signed the guy who's not under contract for some reason, or his contract expired, or whatever. You didn't check it out. You still have him have your title,
Yeah.
and he works now for a rival organization.
Yeah.
You just lucky he didn't come out with your title, just and throw it in the bin or something like that, like Medusa did. Goodness me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he forgot that he was still champion.
Because
Because that belt, no one cared. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, okay.
you know what? You know what we should do?
What?
Because that reminds me. Lance Storm title wins
Okay.
because when he won the WCW Triple Crown, but not really.
Oh, yeah.
So was the US champion, which he changed to the Canadian champion,
Yeah. Then he was Cruiserweight champion.
which he changed to the 100 kilograms and under championship.
Yeah. And then,
The hardcore title, which he called the Saskatchewan Hardcore International title, just because they wanted the acronym.
yeah.
They're actually going to call it the Stu Hart International title as well. They always wanted to get an SH in there.
Uh,
But it doesn't make sense to make an international title. Why is it international? Just so you can put the I there. Whatever.
yeah, stupid.
Lance Storm is quality though.
Yeah, last one was great.
Look, he's not a loud style character, but I really think that the overly serious character can make for good comedy.
Yeah,
If they did to a bit more, he'd be like, you just give him a Batman style personality where he just not get the joke or take the jokes or whatever like that. He has to no sell the joke. That stuff is funny.
yeah. He was great.
When he was like, "Can I be serious for a minute?" The shenanigans that you're putting, he just calls whatever, like the most straightforward way to make it sound like everyone's being childish and he's been the most mature guy there.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man, it worked. It was good. It was a good character.
Essentially, his gimmick was no nonsense Canadian super athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame they pushed him good, except that obviously, I think after he defended the title or something like that, or maybe won a US title, Nash comes out.
Yeah.
This is where Lance Storm had all all three titles. Nash comes out to cut promo, something else, nothing to do with Lance Storm. Kicks Lance Storm, powerbombs Lance Storm like a piece of trash, kicks him to the side, and cuts a promo about whoever who's going to cut promo. But it's like, this guy's holding three of your company titles.
You just did that. Yeah. Like we said, WCW's gonna WCW.
Yeah. So whatever, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think backstage at that point I might be mixed up my stories, but I think Lance Storm, when he was told of this by Kevin Nash, because he had to know Nash was going to come in there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
did he?
This makes no sense. Why do this? I'm holding 3 championships. You know, it's like you're going to bury all the. Nash is like, I saw the Booker once, but Nash, you're the Booker.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, he was the Booker, so it made no sense.
It's like, right, okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm not me just so I can do this to the other guy, even though it is me. Or whatever, man.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at those. And as we were saying about self-contained matches, did you ever watch Beer Money versus the Motor City Machine Guns?
I've watched a few of them because they had like a pretty cool back and forth, didn't they?
Yeah. So they had the best of 5 matches. I think this is where the titles got vacated.
Yeah.
And actually no, it might be after the Guns won the title. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember 100%.
Yeah.
But they had the best of 5 series, which was a mix of different matches. I mean, they had an Ultimate Ultimate X match in there, a ladder match, 2 out of 3 falls matches, stuff like that. So yeah. I'm intrigued to have a look at those because it's like not gimmick matches for the sake of gimmick matches, even though it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's more like, look, these are the best teams in the organization at the moment, yeah, and they're vying really hard. Like win-loss record, they're kind of leveling out. So you know what? Street matches ain't gonna do the job. Let's go for these. Let's go for these different style of matches and really test their limits. Fair enough. Fair enough. Makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So,
I'm down for that.
Sorry.
I'm down for that. I enjoyed them.
And I know we said we were saying about mostly retired, but this is self-contained. It's within itself. It's not going to be like you can't. They're not going to like machine guns aren't going to pop up in WWE. Go beer money. James Storm is working for NWA and Robert Roode's working for WWF. Oh yeah, we want another set of matches that you can't. So yeah. Any other specific stuff you want to have a look at?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I was saying this just for the hilarities because this guy is amazing. We could look at Scott Steiner.
Okay, hold on. Scott Steiner title matches top 5. What do you want?
Ooh. I don't know. I think if we do top 5, it would be before he became Big Papa Pump and was insane.
Wait, no. The top 5 is indiscriminate. The top 5, I mean, like, when you look at the title matches, they're going to give you whether he's Big Papa Pump or whether he's not.
Yeah, I know, but I'm pretty sure most of his great like single matches was before he was that.
Oh, all right, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, so you're saying top 5 simply because he will just be normal Scott Steiner and not Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, and I want Big Papa Pump.
Interesting, interesting. You reckon they'll mainly be tag matches?
Yeah, I reckon it will be, you know.
Okay, well, let's be surprised and see what pops up.
Yeah.
The man is, like we were saying before, he could just simply do theatrics, really, and you'd be intrigued at how his matches go.
Yeah.
He loves, like, there was a match. There was a match they were cheering for him, and he was the heel. And then he started swearing at the crowd. He's like, you don't get enough heels that do that anymore. He did the old 80s, you know, the fist, bicep up with your other hand across it.
Yeah.
To the crowd, even though they were cheering him. Like, that's
that's classic him, mate.
It's like he knows he's meant to be the heel, and he don't even respect the crowd for chanting him. He's still trying to turn them back against him. So I'm like, that's good stuff, Steiner. But then again, Steiner's usually a heel because you can't. How do you make someone like that a face unless you go completely over the top with all the insane crap that he says?
Yeah, I guess that's the only way you could do it, isn't it?
Yeah,
because he is insane. We all know that. He knows that. So it's like. And he plays into it, which is amazing. So, you know.
Well, you know, how much of his character is his character? They were doing a backstage. They weren't doing a promo, but you know how like a backstage segment.
Yeah.
And Bully Ray is talking to Steiner, and then Steiner's talking about how he's going to get a girlfriend for Abyss or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what Bully Ray says to him, but then Steiner goes into Steiner mode.
Yeah.
I got freaks 9 days out a week. And Bob Ray goes, there's only 7 days in a week. And then he goes, I'm Big Papa, blah, 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 blah. And Bob Ray's like, hold on. English. And he goes, I'm Big Papa Pump. All the freaks love me. I could do whatever I want. There's 9 days a week for me. And then Bob Ray says something else and goes back into Scott Steiner mode, but he almost cracks a laugh because he's just like,
this guy.
He readjusted himself to speak non-Big Papa Pump mode. I'm like, you guys are jokers.
Oh man, yeah. That's why we need to do him because he's hilarious.
I'll tell you what I'm intrigued as well. I want to have a look at Hulk Hogan top 5 matches because this guy is super limited.
Yeah.
How much quality can these matches be?
Okay, that could be quite
have you ever seen Andre versus Hogan at WrestleMania 3?
Probably, but I don't think it stood out that much, so I don't remember.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you know how I don't want to say mythify matches, right? But make it all like, oh, this is the turning point in the legend of whatever, right?
Yeah.
You watch the actual match, you're like, nah, they're not doing much, you know?
Yeah, it's
just so basic.
Around.
And I don't even say, so basic even for the 80s of the time. Because you had Macho Man and Steamboat on the same card, and they were doing loads of moves.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now, so we will go by how limited Andre was at that point because he was back issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was.
But even then, it's just like, you guys are lumbering. You know.
Yeah, and it's not fun.
And Hogan's not the greatest at carrying anybody.
No, far from.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is Hogan's all about the theatrics, but the theatrics can't. If you haven't got the crowd with you,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
it'll stand out. You're not really doing much.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, when I say a Hogan top five, not necessarily because I think he's had a lot of good matches. Just more, of, I wonder how this man has pulled off what he's pulled off.
yeah. Which is not much.
Yeah, with the limited, I don't. Okay, it's an awkward thing to say. Okay, this guy's got limited ability, right?
Yeah,
But if you're not allowed to show your ability, that's another thing.
yeah.
Would you say? Because I think what they were saying before Hogan was saying, oh, but you can't trust Hogan, of course, right?
Yeah, of course. I think so.
Character now, character.
Yeah,
He was saying he when he was wrestling, he doing all these moves, and then they told him you got to wrestle like a big man, so stop doing those moves. But it's similar to what Undertaker told Big Show when Big Show was doing like selling for people.
yeah,
Like don't sell like that, you know. Like even when I think Nash might have told him that because in WCW Big Show could do drop kicks and he just stopped doing drop kicks.
yeah.
And in fact, I think it's the same advice that Big Show told Braun Strowman. Which makes sense because if you're that big, I mean, like Braun Strowman can do drop kicks, but you're like, is it necessary for you to do a drop kick at a guy who's 6 inches shorter than you? Fair enough if Braun Strowman was doing the drop kick on Big Show,
Yeah.
but you don't want Braun Strowman doing a drop kick to like Cesaro.
Yeah, I've never understood that logic why they don't want big guys doing certain things, because then it kind of it shows that they're more than just.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. Like you're saying, they neutered Keith Lee's moveset. Like, yeah, but this guy's a standout because of the stuff he does.
Yeah. So it's
And
like,
if Rock pulled off that shooting star press at WrestleMania 19, that'd have been amazing.
yeah, I mean, awesome. Yeah,
But
I
like,
understand.
It's strange. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a couple other things here. I want to look at, personally, I want to look at Vince McMahon matches, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it as a top five? Oh, he hasn't won any titles, right?
He has.
So how do you do it?
He's won 2 titles.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. He has won 2 titles. So do you want to do, like, we could do Vince McMahon title wins and losses, but that's only going to be like 4 matches. Or Vince McMahon top 5, or Vince McMahon WrestleMania matches or something like that. Should we just decide later on how
We'll decide later on, because.
Yeah. Vinnie Mac matches. And another one, not this one you'd be intrigued by, but we'll know who's the best one of these, right? We'll look at wrestling matches by the best non-wrestlers.
Okay.
We know who's going to be number 1, of course, right?
Who?
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, it would be, innit? Yeah.
Yeah. Even without obviously looking at all the other non-wrestlers, but it's just like, look, this guy's a standout already because he's athletic, can do his own stunts. He looks the part. And when he had the match with Chris, I mean, he knows the business in the sense that there's no point in the celebrity coming in, having a one-on-one match with a professional wrestler and winning because that's just the ego. He lost his match to Christopher Daniels, and like, yeah, but as you should because
Yes, you should, because he's a wrestler. You're not. So, yeah.
exactly. But okay, when I say non-wrestling matches, what are we going to look at that kind of wise? Because there's lots of non-wrestlers who've had matches. Are we looking at top 5, or are we looking at, I don't know,
Maybe top 5.
because we could put it in as actors or singers or all those different type of guest star. But that might limit, because not a lot of people like. Okay, there's Bad Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Who's a singer, rap star, whatever, right? Kevin Federline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's reality TV star Snooki had the match.
Yeah.
From the Jersey Shore. Yeah. So.
I think just lump all in one.
Yeah, and just do
Yeah.
the top 5.
Yeah. Probably easier, if honest.
Do you want to bet three Stephen Amell matches will be in the top 5?
Of course.
So he had the match with Christopher Daniels, 1-on-1, I believe. He had a match with him and Neville versus Cody Rhodes and do you remember who it was?
Wade Barrett, innit?
Yeah. And then he had, I think, a 6-man match with the Bucks. Was it him and the Bucks versus some other team?
I can't remember. Was that I don't think that one was televised.
Okay, maybe 5-on-4 tag match. It was okay. So Stephen Amell, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Bucks versus the Addiction, which is Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Flip Gordon, and Scorpio Sky.
Okay.
So I have a feeling this top 5 is going to be 3 Stephen Amell matches.
Yeah, it is now that you think about it. But yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we'll see how that works. But right, yeah, it's just like, right. To be fair, though, should we adjust the parameters to be singles matches, or just lump it together as overall non-wrestling involved matches?
I say lump it together.
Yeah, only because if we're doing non-wrestling matches, we might be looking at a bunch of not so good matches, and you can't put ourselves through that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, let's do a bottom 5, but we can't do that. We can't do that.
That's mean.
Right? Like, we start hating wrestling watching them.
Yeah, and we don't want to be one of those podcasts. We just crap on everything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's yeah. You can't put yourself through the strain of watching a bottom 5 X amount of perfect matches because you just want to switch the match off halfway and you can't even be bothered to watch it anymore.
Yeah. Not
no matter who, even the best people have had terrible matches.
Yeah,
and then you think, how bad is this good guy? Is it because is he good because he's had good people to wrestle with? Is he getting exposed against this other jabroni, or is this other jabroni so bad he's dragging this guy down as well?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Okay, and maybe something else we'll look at is character gimmicks.
Okay, yeah, we could look at that. And
we take a wrestler,
yeah,
like The Undertaker, for example, and we just be like, what do you think of his iterations through his gimmick?
Yeah.
I know Undertaker's had a lot, so we just point him out. The Western Mortician was one of them. That's the first undead version, right? Okay. Lord of Darkness.
Yeah.
Leader of the Corporate Ministry. The American Badass. The Dead Man.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I don't know, the Return of the American Badass, whatever he is now.
I don't know. He's just old man Mark now, I guess. I don't actually know.
Yeah. And just let me point out, Carl's not cussing him for being old. What he's just saying is like old man Logan style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never disrespect.
Old man Taker. That's probably the best way.
Yeah, it's probably the best way because literally that's what his gimmick was, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he'd come out of retirement to do one last job. Yeah.
Well, we'll just have a look at whatever you remember through these gimmicks that were whatever stood out to you or particular matches that stood out. Because I think some of his matches were better because of when he switched to out of the undead mode.
Yeah.
And I think the American Badass, as much as I didn't like it at the time, I'm thinking actually, what? It helped him be more flexible.
Yeah.
But then, so when he combined them, kind of all of his previous gimmicks together to become the Dead Man when he returned at WrestleMania 20. Okay, yeah, this hybrid version works. Actually, I think it added more to his matches as well because he could start selling more and stop non-selling. It just made him look kind of better in a way. Like, I think his ring work was much better because even if he was stiff and terrible in ring, doing the Deadman gimmick would cover up all of that because all they do is basically sit up and no sell.
Yeah.
But you had to have skill to do that, by the way, because you couldn't exactly have someone like Giant Gonzalez do that Undertaker gimmick.
Yeah.
He was terrible. Yeah. But then, okay, this character gimmick stuff.
Yeah.
Charles Wright, Papa Shango falls in it as well.
Yeah, because he's had so many,
What was he? Papa Shango.
Yeah.
Karma, the Supreme Fighting Machine.
Yep.
In the Nation of Domination. The Godfather, right?
Yep, the
Godfather. And then kind of off and on the Godfather now?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Even though his is more like his is wholesale character reinvention.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those with longer lasting careers can cover this more because even though Sting had a long career,
Yeah.
he's just basically been surfacing
Two.
and Sting.
Yeah, 2 Stings. That's what he's being released.
Well, and 3 if you count. Okay, so Joker Sting might be a separate one, but then if you count the 4th as hybrid Sting, where he's a combination of all of them, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ric Flair's always been Ric Flair though, so
Yeah.
and I would dare say Kurt Angle's mostly been Kurt Angle as well, so you can't really. There's nothing out there.
Booker T's had a few.
Gimmicks.
Yeah.
All I know is that Booker T is Harlem Heat, then Booker T, then G.I. Bro, and then King Booker.
Yeah.
Not necessarily and then King Booker, but when he's normal Booker T is, he's in between all of those.
Yeah.
We could have a look at that, but I don't think there's been there's anything significant in mostly stuff is either significant because he's Harlem Heat, or he's Booker T. Because G.I. Bro and King Booker. I mean, King Booker, yeah, but G.I. Bro, he was just kind of in transition there.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
So, yeah, well, I mean, look, there's lots of stuff to look at, upcoming stuff, wrestling-wise. Maybe we'll just do some more self-contained feuds as well, because we've mostly got title matches here, or top 5s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other interesting stuff to look at, we'll figure out.
We'll figure out.
Yeah.
Before we get ideas of some people. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Exactly. But please refrain from doing, worst, whatever, because I'm enjoy wrestling, but at the same time, you don't want to start hating the things you enjoy.
Yeah, and then you don't want to be kind of like everyone else that does that. It's easy to do. Me personally, I think it's easy to do worst whatevers. Yeah. It's no real.
We do make fun of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like we hate it. We just hate sometimes the situations or the WCW-ness of it, the insensibilities.
Yeah.
It's like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Or just the pure selfishness of some people. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't even benefit you sometimes. It just hurts the other person, but that's your aim, so you can keep your spot. Whatever.
Yeah, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, mainly him and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And Triple H, but still, you know what? Yeah, Triple H is not retired yet, so we can't add Triple H to the list. But yeah, we might even sort out people's stuff like we were saying about Goldberg. We just sort it out into previous organizations and current organizations or whatever, just so we can do that particular section without having to wait for the other section to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we see how that works out.
See how it goes.
Yeah. So is that us signing off?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, so I'm the man who wants all of you Alabama idiots to shut the hell up so I can show you what a real man looks like. Hit my music. See why, Sean?
Oh, wow. That's hilarious. And I'm the man who, on one episode of WCW Nitro, got challenged to a match by Chucky and nothing came of it. Carl Charles.
And that's us out for this episode. Thanks for taking the trip around the multiverse with us.
Yes, thank you very much. That's what I always say. Tell a friend, let people know about this podcast and stuff, Smash the like button, all that. Goody, good stuff. And yeah, thanks for taking the trip around the multiverse, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
But you know and I know that you're only half the man that I am. And I have half the brain that you do.